everybody, and welcome back to another edition of Game Changers. I'm your host, Jalen Tart, and along with me are my guys, Chaz and Joe. So it's been a while. We haven't uploaded in a month. Everyone's been going crazy with their crazy schedules, but it's been a lot going on in the sports world that we really have to address. So we're not going to waste some more time, and we're going to jump right into it. So, fellas, we're going to start things off with the NBA. After the All-Star break, these players just picked up right where they left off with these MVP performances. I know James Harden is now with the Philadelphia 76ers. The Heat has picked things up with winning games, and they're now first in the East right now. But a lot of people are really talking about who is the front runner in the NBA MVP leading in the voting right now. So, Joe, I'm gonna start off with you. Who do you have as your front runner for the NBA MVP award?
Well, to be honest, there's a lot of players that deserve this award this year. Some players that I wasn't expected to do this good, like DeMar, John Morant. But I'm going to go ahead and say Joel Embiid because I just believe he should have won it. He could have won it last year, but injuries got involved. But he's just been balling, the last 2 seasons now. And I just believe he averaging 29 points, 11 rebounds, 4 assists this year. That is incredible numbers. And now I'm kind of afraid adding James Harden could mess that up a little bit. But to be honest, he's still dominating. So in my opinion, I believe Joel Embiid should be the MVP.
Okay, go ahead, Chaz.
Yeah, Joe, I agree with you. And that I'm glad you brought up that last point because I think James Harden is the biggest factor into all that. Because if you look at it, James Harden takes over and Joel Embiid kind of like takes a second player on the team role, which I don't think he will. I think that would kind of drop his MVP stock a little bit, but he could even be more of a front runner if Harden Harden's there now and they're playing well, but it's clear that they're winning because of Embiid. If he's the clear reason and he's the number one on the team, I think that helps even more. But we see what happens when James Harden goes to teams, and it's kind of been a little bit of drama lately, and he's been able to force his way out of 2 places like very recently. So I think the biggest part about it is James Harden. If they can stay away from, drama and like unhappy James Harden, and Embiid is still the clear-cut number one, I think he's the MVP.
I do like Joel Embiid. His game, he's obviously the best center in the NBA right now with the numbers that he's putting up. Now that you have James Harden there, they're clear favorites. They're not really the clear favorites, but they're contenders to come out of the East. But we'll get to that topic later in the show. But I personally think that DeMar DeRozan will edge out Joel Embiid. It will come down between Joel Embiid and DeMar DeRozan off of what DeMar DeRozan is doing with the Chicago Bulls, putting up 28.1 points per game this season, shooting 51% from the field. That's actually pretty good from a team last year that was led by Zach LaVine. So for you to come in and put up those numbers that you're capable of putting up, that's good. And they're 4th in the East right now. I mean, this is heating up. A lot of people are saying that John Morant should be in there. I personally don't believe that he should be in there. But if he consistently puts up numbers next season to what he's doing right now, he could be in the conversation. But I personally have DeMar DeRozan edging out Joel Embiid. But I will not count out Joel Embiid. I think Harden down the stretch will help him boost his numbers because of the system that James Harden is playing in. But it's gonna be very close. I personally have DeMar edging out Joel Embiid this season.
Can I ask something?
Go ahead.
I won't even say that Joel Embiid is quite the best center. I'm just saying that I just believe he should be MVP. Because when we look at Nikola Jokic's numbers, he almost averaging a triple-double right now, 25, 13, and 7 is his stats. So I won't say he's the clear favorite, and with the DeMar point, the reason why I have DeMar number 4 right now because I have Embiid, Jokic, and Giannis. Giannis been having another incredible year.
Mm-hmm.
But I see where you're coming from because, like, without DeMar, where would that Bulls team be right now?
At the bottom?
Yeah, near the bottom. So adding a all-star caliber player who is an MVP, who should probably be MVP this year in DeMar, that just helps the Bull. And that's why I said, even in the beginning, and y'all two should know this, but I said that the Bulls would be a top 4 team in the East because of the chemistry that they will build there in Chicago. But anyway, back to the point. I won't say that Joel Embiid is the clear favorite, but yeah, I think he should be MVP. But Nikola Jokic is really right there with those boys and Giannis.
Yeah. And I was just about to say that too, Joe. I wasn't going to count out Jokic because of how he's playing too. And the triple, and you averaging a triple-double, I think people that should vote, that are voting for the MVP, they should take a look at that because that is key. And, having your, claiming your case of being the MVP. But
yeah,
it's gonna get interesting. It is gonna get interesting as the season gets closer and closer to the postseason.
That's exactly how Russell Westbrook won his MVP because he averaged a triple-double.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So with that being said, we're going to move on to the next topic. We're going to go to the NFL. This situation is very interesting with the Seahawks and Russell Wilson. It's been a lot of talk in the offseason that Russell Wilson, he's changed his avatar a couple of times and he's taking some stuff down with that's related to the Seahawks. People are saying that he might leave or he might stay. We really don't know. But so Chaz, I want to ask you this: on a scale of 1 to 10, how likely is it that the Seahawks might trade Russell Wilson this offseason?
This one's tough because I look at Russell Wilson as not as much of a conflict kind of type of guy. We were just talking about James Harden, and he can basically sit his way out whenever he wants. You know what I mean? He's done it twice. Oh, I'm hurt, and then I don't want to be here, and then leave. And I feel like Russell Wilson hasn't been like that. He was kind of oh no, that wasn't me who said I wanted to leave. Last year when they were talking about him leaving,
right?
And he comes back, he stays, and the interesting thing too is how loaded that division is. It's hard to get out of that division even if they have a good team.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I feel like the easy answer is 5. I could be I could totally see him staying because where's he gonna go?
Mm-hmm.
And why would you leave necessarily when you could have the chance of rebuilding? But if you're Seattle, you honestly might want to blow up the whole thing now. Get a bunch of pieces for Russell Wilson. That's the only way they're going to rebuild that in the draft and free agency. But you can't do that all in a year. So blow it up, get a couple first rounders from him, maybe a big name player. So I'd say it's probably leaning more towards 6 or 7 because I feel like it's in the best interest of everybody at this point. Because last year I would have said no. I mean, it's not in the best interest of Seattle or really Russell Wilson. But I'd say a 6 or a 7 because I think it's getting closer that time. The worse they get and the better the division gets and the older it gets, I think it's going to get more and more and more.
I'll go next. I have to agree with the rating. I'll have to agree, but my reasoning is a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
I personally think that Pete Carroll in this situation has more power of what is going on in Seattle right now. I know that, they had a disappointing 7-10 season and you're in the best division in the NFC, in the NFC West. That division is only going to get better and better. And I think the more harder it gets, the more frustrated Russell Wilson is going to be. Mm-hmm. I personally think that this season will be his last season. A team that I personally consider that he might go in, Washington. They need a quarterback.
I
I
wish.
think that system with Washington will fit him. But it's been rumors saying that he does not want to play. He does not want to go out east. I don't know if that's need to be true, but Washington will be good and Indianapolis will be good. They both have great systems. Indianapolis has a great offensive line. They have a running game and they have a defense. They're just missing the quarterback. Washington is good too. I think with Washington, you're working with a young receiving core and a solid defense and a solid O-line. And you have Ron Rivera to work with. I think Ron Rivera's style will fit Russell Wilson, but it will take some time to gel. But honestly, I would say from a 6 to a 7 that they might trade Russell Wilson after this upcoming season.
I'm going to agree with Chaz and say 5 because it's definitely just 50-50.
Yeah.
Like Chaz said, he's like, oh, I didn't say this, or, oh, I don't want to leave. But on the other side, we hearing rumors that he possibly want to go to Washington. And y'all know I don't want that. I know Chaz want that. But anyway,
I wish, man.
this is the first losing season under Russell Wilson, and there's definitely need a change in Seattle. I think Pete Carroll should go. I just don't think there's really no into that. I believe Russell Wilson should just go, and the Seahawks need to just get on a rebuild because while Russell still have value, you might as well just go ahead and ship him off somewhere. But yeah, I'm just looking here at the teams that he might consider. Pittsburgh maybe, because since Ben Roethlisberger gone, they probably want a good quarterback.
Yeah.
Probably the Broncos, they probably want a quarterback. The Commanders, that's still so weird to say. But but yeah, those are the 3 teams I'm looking at right now if he does leave. But I'm just going to give it a solid 5 because it's really 50-50 at this point.
It's just one subtle movement out of Seattle and it will just irritate Russell Wilson. You didn't pay your left guard. I think the situation last year was the Seahawks didn't pay their left guard. Joe, you know the situation. They didn't pay the left guard their money, and then they didn't pay Bobby Wagner, and then they didn't pay Bobby Wagner. They paid Bobby Wagner late. So it's just so much commotion going on with Seattle right now. And I just think that if he's frustrated, he wants to leave. That's just me like with the Kyler Murray situation. Kyler Murray's frustrated because he's not getting his extension. He wants to stay, but Arizona's acting like they don't want him to stay. That's why Kyler Murray is just going crazy right now in this offseason. And it's just but back to Seattle. It's just frustrating to watch a once in a lifetime talent, a true dual threat NFL quarterback go through this type of drama in Seattle. It's just ridiculous. And I don't blame him. I would get the hell up out of Seattle, honestly. And I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Yeah, I agree.
We're gonna just move on to the quick pitch. This is interesting, fellas, because I've been waiting to get at this one ever since we released the topics off camera. Which team will be more scarier when healthy? The 76ers or the Nets? Go ahead, Joe.
Hold on.
Chaz, you want to go?
I can go.
Go ahead, Chaz.
Yeah, you don't mind, because I really got to think about that one.
Really? To me, I don't know. It's the easy answer for me. 100%, I think it's the 76ers. You can look at every single time we've been on the show. I don't think Ben Simmons going to a new team makes him all that scary of a player. So then you look at KD, who's we're talking about when they're healthy, right? But
yes,
who's to say that they become unhealthy again? Who's to say they don't?
Right.
KD has an injury history. Great player, probably best in the world when he's consistently healthy. But you got KD, who's pretty injury prone. Then Ben Simmons, who I don't think is ready to be a basketball player right now. And so when he comes back, he's going to have to adjust, and he still can't shoot. He's not going to move to a new team and learn how to shoot. And then you have Kyrie Irving, who doesn't even play half the time. He could be healthy or not.
Don't get me started about that. Don't get me started on that. Go
I
ahead.
know.
No,
Barely-
my not to interrupt you, but my side is the mandate law in New York. That's what's killing me because we want to see him play.
Yeah.
It's just the law. But go ahead, Chaz.
Well, yeah, no, yeah, I understand that, but like take that aside too. Like,
Right.
he just leaves. He disappears.
Yeah.
Good health or bad health, that's not going to stop that. And I feel like he had a role in Harden wanting to leave. I think Kyrie Irving was the third best player on that team. I don't think he was ever better than Harden. So you take KD, who, yeah, great player, but you got Ben Simmons drama and Kyrie drama. And KD kind of is drama too. He gets his feelings hurt. So that team could self-destruct again. It already has, and it definitely already could again. And then you look at Philly, and while, yes, James Harden, I guess, is drama too, and he gets hurt, that's only one. That's one drama-filled player. And then you have MVP frontrunner. So I think that you keep Harden happy, and that team can win a championship. But I think the Nets are just not built for the long run. They're too much drama. And they were before this, and they still are, in my opinion.
You ready, Joe?
All right.
Go ahead, Joe.
All right. I'm going to disagree, and I'm going to say the Nets. And the reason why, because as you said, when Kevin Durant plays, he's arguably the best player in the world. And when Kyrie plays, still top 5 point guard when he plays. And with adding the bench or role players like Seth Curry, Andre Drummond, that helps out the bench. And they added Goran Dragic, the Dragon. Patty Mills, who's been pretty good this year. I'm looking at this from a whole basketball standpoint and just not star players, because I believe when healthy, the Nets have a better bench than the 76ers. And the big three in Philly with Maxey, Harden, and Embiid, it's great. It really is. But in playoff time, they're going to get overplayed, which means, they're going to have more minutes in playoffs. So somebody's going to have to step up. And I don't think they have the bench to do it like that. It's either been Harden, Embiid, or Maxey. Danny Green, he can shoot threes and everything, but he's not going to do anything. But I'm going to say the Nets, because when healthy, they have the star power and they have the bench, but they just need defense. That's the only thing they need. But I'm going to say the Brooklyn Nets. And they added that with Ben Simmons, but he still need to have a jump shot.
I was just about to get on you, hey, Joe. I was just about to get on you because I 100% agree. It's close, but with Ben, it's just a match made. They both won in the trade, but with Ben Simmons going to Brooklyn, that helps that increases their chances, because now everybody is back healthy. Once they get rid of this stupid mass mandate rule, there's nobody. I don't think it's only two teams stopping the Nets, themselves, and either whoever. It's tough because they can get hurt again and not be healthy, and then you got the Bucks. You got to worry about the Bucks. You got to worry about the Sixers. You got to worry about the Heat, and you got to worry about
the Bulls.
Yes, and the Bulls. Thank you. But how can I put this? I think Ben Simmons, it all comes down to Ben Simmons. Mentally, it all comes down to Ben Simmons. Is he ready to play basketball now? That is the question. People are urging him to play against Philly. People are not urging him to play against Philly. If he doesn't play against Philly and they end up playing them in the playoffs, you know how big of a storyline that is for the NBA, for the sports world? It's going to be utterly insane. But with Ben Simmons, what he brings, y'all know how I feel about Ben Simmons. He brings that defensive intensity to this Brooklyn Nets team that they don't have, that they didn't have with James Harden. I think with the system with James Harden in Philly, it works. My only concern with Philly is Doc Rivers down the stretch. We know, Doc Rivers as the 3-1 choke artist in the playoffs. We know that James Harden chokes in the playoffs when it counts. So does James Harden get over the hump? Does Doc Rivers get over that coaching hump in the playoffs? We don't know. They might lose in the second round, like how they did last year against Atlanta. We just don't know. I think the ceiling for Brooklyn has gone up even higher now with the addition of Seth Curry. That's a huge pickup that people aren't really realizing. That is huge because you add shooting and you add defense. Andre Drummond, he's a glass cleaner, and he will protect the rim when you need him to. We saw that in one of the games that he just been playing not too long ago. We saw that. Right. But with Ben Simmons, that helps. That helps with defense, and he can get people going. I think with the big three of Ben Simmons, Kyrie, and KD, it's going to be tough to stop. Very, very tough to stop. So I have to go with the Nets here.
And to that point, Jalen, if the 76ers and the Nets meet in the playoffs, that's still a high possibility because I'm looking at the Eastern Conference standings. You have Miami at first and Philly in second. And the Nets right now is currently sitting at number 8. So that means they'll be a play-in team. So all they have to do is beat the Raptors. Beat the Raptors.
They're not
listening. Play the 76ers.
At the end of the season, the Nets will be a top 5 team. Watch what they will be a top 5 team.
All they really have to do is just get healthy. Ben Simmons needs to get healthy.
He needs to get healthy. If they got to win their stretch of games down the stretch, okay, cool. But James Harden, I'm not going to, talk all this about Brooklyn, but James Harden, to me, that also upgraded their team. Like you said, Joe, they don't have a bench.
Oh, yeah.
That's the only problem. They don't have a bench. You got Maxey, Embiid, Tobias Harris. Tobias Harris is solid. And you got Thibault. Thibault, you kept Thibault. Because if you would have got rid of Thibault, that would have hurt too. That would have really hurt. So you got some pieces, but you don't have all of your pieces. That's all I'm trying to say.
Right.
Chaz,
and back to your point, Chaz, it will be it is hard to beat Philly because when Harden got there, they haven't lost a game yet. So I mean, with that two-headed punch with Harden and Embiid, that is hard to stop. But the reason why we're hype about it now is because we've seen what they can do, but we haven't seen what the Nets can do when they're healthy. So that's why, in my opinion, that's why I'm just waiting in a way for the Nets to get healthy, because I really think when healthy, they can be better than the 76ers.
So go ahead, Chaz.
I was just gonna say I really, really think that the Nets' biggest enemy is themselves. I still think that, and watching it happen, because I don't know, the way I see it is I think they were a better team when they had Harden, Kyrie, and KD on paper than and you saw how that exploded.
Yeah,
how that went. And I think that Harden and Kyrie are both better than Ben Simmons. So it's if there's still drama now and they're a worse team now than I think they were before, who's to say? You know what I mean?
Right.
So their biggest enemy is themselves. And so I think that'll be what gets them in the end.
Okay.
So here's my thing. So the Nets play the Sixers on the 10th. Do y'all see Ben Simmons playing on the 10th? You don't see it?
I don't see it at all.
Probably
He's not ready. He's not ready for that.
Okay.
Badly that'll go if he plays bad or they get blown out or something. Mentally and just for the fans, you come back and it's a big hype return and you go play against your old team and then you play garbage.
Yeah. That would be bad.
Even down to rock bottom again. That's not good for anybody,
Right.
All right. Before we go, I do got one question. Will the Lakers make the playoffs? Yes or no?
No.
I say no.
They're so bad.
It's terrible. It's terrible. I'm gonna say this, and I'm done with this situation. Get rid of Rob Pelinka and get rid of AD and Russ, and all your problems are solved. I'm just gonna say that. Get rid of
Yeah.
Rob Pelinka.
I just think y'all just need to go on a rebuild because LeBron is not going to be a part of y'all future. Russ ain't going to be a part of your future. AD is too injury prone. That's too big of a risk. So yeah, it's just, and the thing, Rob Pelinka, he signed all these star players. It's kind of like what he did when he signed like Karl Malone and Worthy with Kobe and Shaq, I believe. But I see that in that same similar situation. You got all these star players and nothing, like you're not resorting in wins. So yeah, that's just bad for the Lakers. Lakers not going to the playoffs. Not in my
I don't
opinion.
think so.
I think you could low-key trade LeBron.
Oh.
Honestly.
Back to Cleveland? Hold on. You say back to Cleveland? Oh.
Anywhere, yo. Anywhere. Here's the thing.
Go ahead.
I don't know how this is going to sound. Like, if I'm Cleveland, I don't know if I want LeBron. I don't.
I mean, Cleveland doing good.
But you gotta look at the players around him though.
That's what I'm saying though. Like, think about this. You know, Cleveland is doing good. They're exceeding expectations. So what are you gonna do? Ship away a couple young talents to the Lakers to get like 2 years of LeBron, where like his track record honestly has been, you know, he goes first year, wins a chip. Either they run it back or they're really good, and then he starts getting tired of people, or you know, more young guys leave, and then he brings in older players, and like, you know, happened with the Heat too. Had a way older supporting cast, and then they ended up, and he leaves, and he can't do that any longer. You know, maybe 2-3 more years of him being in the league. So if I'm Cleveland, I don't even know if I want LeBron.
Yeah, I wouldn't want LeBron because they have a young and Rod Stud and Darius Garland.
My thing is this. Yeah. Wherever Bronny James land when he gets drafted, him and his dad will win the championship. There will be contenders. We don't know because anything can happen in the next few years when Bronny James come in the league. But they will be content. They will be contenders. Wherever he go, that's where LeBron is going to go. So
if somehow Cleveland sucks in the next 3 years, and I'm just picturing this in my head, and Bronny goes and LeBron James comes back, he'll be like, Cleveland!
all over again. Well, that will do it for this edition of Game Changers. We'll catch you guys next week. I hope you guys enjoy your day. Y'all be safe. And peace out, y'all. Take care.
Peace.